Good evening, folks. This is Jonathan Milam.
I want to wait.
And I do not have a trumpet in hand, but I've got two friends. Actually, these are nephews of mine. We have Casey and we have Drew. These guys are road warriors, not rogue warriors, just road warriors. They are in the area for a coin show, working full-time with coins. And went by the coin show today and saw what they had and just thought it was so fascinating. Their company is Acousha, and it is impressive. It is impressive. And I thought, of course, I dabble with trumpets and music and Bible. That's the big things in my life. Of course, families associated with all of that. But coins are just so inherently interesting. And I tried to think of some questions that would perhaps be beneficial that a lot of us might want to ask if we had the opportunity. So we'll get right into it. How did you guys get into coin collecting?
Yeah, so I got into coin collecting personally from my grandmother. So she actually worked at a grocery store and she started to kind of exchange her pay for silver dollars and silver dimes and silver quarters. And I was actually up at their house, passing through my junior year of college to my senior year of college, and my dad just got let go of his job. And you want me to cut that? Or?
No, that's fine.
It's okay.
We have a dog, a little puppy. Please ignore her. She'll try and do better further on.
Yeah. So she was really adamant about collecting stuff and keeping it back. And my dad just got let go of his job. And I really felt like, what am I going to do with my life that's actually going to be important and something that's interesting and something that I can call my own? There's a lot of people that like to, get a paycheck and get a salary, but at the end of the day, I really wanted to give someone like my kids a great business that they can either use for themselves. And so that really got me into collecting. We ended up buying her collection and we ended up keeping it. And then when COVID started, we ended up wanting to buy and sell coins and end up starting to collect as well. So it's been a pretty interesting journey from there.
And when you talk about the opportunity to give back and the opportunity to do more than be a mercenary in sales, that's where we cross the line from just observing to really appreciating. And of course, we got to the coin show today after it had already been going on for a few hours, and we asked him, did you buy anything? And Drew and Casey mentioned to us, a fella came by, he was selling coins at so many times the face value. And I said, well, did you buy at that? And their answer was no, we gave him a little more because we knew there was additional profit in there. You have to appreciate someone that is willing to make a deal that will benefit both parties. And I think that speaks volumes about an individual, the essence of sales, if they really are willing to help. And that certainly was impressive today. Unsolicited, I might add. So how long have you been collecting? How many years?
So we've been collecting for about 3.5 years.
Okay. Now, what, to your way of thinking, is your best find or one of the best experiences that you've had in collecting?
Yeah, so there's a few that, like buying the collection from our grandmother, but also we ended up driving back up to Ohio one time because she said she goes to a chiropractor's office, I think twice a month, and there was the front desk lady there that basically her dad wanted to sell his coin collection. And so we were there to basically assist and help out in certain ways to make sure that no one was to take advantage of him. I think he ended up receiving a lot of low offers from different shops locally or pawn shops, and they were going through a really tough time. And so we went there, we established a great relationship, and then we made them a fair offer, which they decided to take. And someone might say that's not very special. We spent about $10,000, whatever. It's not very special to the outlooker, but to us, it feels like if you're going to provide a great service, you have to do it because there's something involved rather than just money. You have to do it because you care about somebody and you don't want their legacy to be hurt. Because there's a lot of these guys that end up spending their whole lives developing something to pass on to their children, and sometimes there's that dealer out there, or that person that says they're a coin dealer or a bullion dealer, that ends up taking advantage of everybody that they find. And for us, I feel like if you want to create a sustainable business where you're not looking over your shoulder, having stories like that to talk to people about is the most important.
Very good.
So,
very good. I'm not sure if you're noticing, but we have an X's and O's man whose background is financing.
that's right.
And then we have a spokesman. It is interesting. Now, words of advice for someone interested in getting into coin collecting. What would you say to somebody that's just always imagined that they'd enjoy getting into it and they're thinking about it now? What would your thoughts be for them?
Don't buy off the television.
Very good. Very good.
Another thing also is to kind of walk around at coin shows, understand and study what's going on. Sometimes I feel like there's collectors that want to start collecting that just jump in it way too fast. I feel like when you're jumping in it way too fast and not taking those, those measures ahead of time, you're going to end up hurting yourself. So I've seen many people that come into coin shows, they say, oh, they want to start collecting, and the first coin they buy is a $1,000 coin. And then they leave the coin show and it's actually worth $300. And then they never collect ever again. So what I would say to people is that start off small, start off about the approach of learning, and also just understanding and trying to put pieces together, what's going on at a show, what's going on in the coin space, so that you can start to develop an eye, but also come in and buy coins for a decent price too.
And I think, to add on to Drew, we get this advice all the time. I think once you get your bearings and you get an understanding of how the coin industry works and you shop around, a lot of advice has been go and buy the relatively more expensive coins. So for example, if you're collecting barber quarters, go and buy the most expensive barber quarter first, because in theory those coins will escalate in value at such an exponential rate over a period of time. By the time you go to get around to some of those key dates, you're going to have to pay significantly more.
Yeah, so if you're, like Casey's saying, there's certain dates in a series that are more expensive, that are more sought after, that there's lower mintages that are made, a lot of those coins are melted down, and so now that collectors are trying to develop a whole date set of this coin, a lot of them say, let me get the cheaper coins first. And they end up buying the cheaper coins for $40, said, right? And say they only can spend $40 a month or $40 every 3 months. They buy all those coins, and then 5 or 6 years from now, they say, now I want to make the big purchase. Now I want to buy the great coin. Well, that coin could have doubled or tripled in value. So sometimes it's better to just go into a coin show, understand the numbers on a coin, and buy the best, because you're going to end up saving yourself a lot in the long run, because those other cheaper coins will be pretty inexpensive. 5 or 6 years from now, you might pay $50 for that coin 5 or 6 years from now instead of $40 right now.
Now that is not only interesting, but it's adverse to the way I would have thought. So it's really good to get your opinion on that. Now, I'm going to say this again. Of course, they're my nephews, but honestly, I wouldn't throw a stick their way if I didn't think it was beneficial. If you're out there and you're thinking, I'd like to get into coin collecting, I wonder what a good coin for me would be, you might want to get in touch with them. I'll have the link right below. And I think from what we've said, from what they speak, the way they speak, you can see you'd be dealing with someone that will not take you to the cleaner, so to speak, but would have your interest at heart as well. Now, a side issue, I buy and sell trumpets, small scale. But one of the first trumpets I found I thought was at good value was at a pawn shop. I like trumpetherald.com. It's a great forum for me. And the first thing I did, I went to a little McDonald's near there, and I typed into the forum and said, I think I found a trumpet at a good price. It's at a pawn shop. The guy's asking so much. It looks like it's in good condition. What do you all think? And a few guys responded and said, it's a pawn shop, offer him $10. And another one said, it's a pawn shop. He ripped somebody off. This particular guy felt like he owed to his neighborhood. And I told him, I said, if you'll let me, I can take your horns, I can clean them up, I can put them on the internet, I can give you more money than you're getting here. And he looked right at me and said, that's not what I want. I want to help my community. I want to help the people around me. that need a horn, which I thought was exemplary. Anyway, I went back to buy this horn from him, and I said, I asked some guys, and they thought this was a reasonable price. He looks right at me and he goes, I know. I read your thread at Trumpet Herald. And he had been looking online to double check his price. And fortunately, I had said, I think this is a good guy. And he appreciated that. I did buy the trumpet. Very nice King silver tone, incidentally. Well, those are good words of advice for somebody that's trying to get into it. How can you two best be contacted? And I'll put the information below, but we've got lots of options. We've got, of course, I know you're on YouTube. You've got your website. Right off the top of your head, what's the easiest way to get in touch with you guys?
So the best way is probably just text me, 832-538-4122. Just text me what you'd be interested in talking about, what we can help you with. Or if you want to go on our website, AcoushaCollectibles.com, you could type in the text box and it sends us an email. If there's any interesting coins or something that you want to talk about, we'd be happy to help out with that as well on there. Yeah.
Acousha Collectibles.
Yeah, AcoushaCollectibles.com.
And I'll put the link below there. Very good. Very good. Now, I know I was impressed. We sat around their table at the coin show today, which is in the Charleston, South Carolina area. You've got a couple of coins here. What are special to you about these coins?
Yeah, so the first coin we wanted to talk about was this 1916 Denver Mercury Dime. So like we talked about previously in the video, if you're wanting to start a set like a Mercury Dime set, you kind of want to buy the best date. And the most sought after date in the series is the 1916 Denver due to the lower mintage. And when you're starting to release a coin into the marketplace, like say in 1916, right outside the Denver Mint, there was a lot of coins that were produced and made for the general public. A lot of people didn't care, right? So they treated them poorly. It was the start of the series. And so combining that it's a lower mintage and a lot of these coins just aren't surviving anymore, this is kind of the more sought after date of the series. And so it's something that we would probably estimate at $4,250 based in this market, just because there's so many collectors out there for them and it really drives up the premium.
Isn't that interesting? Now, are both of these from that same series?
No, actually, the second coin is this 1859 3-cent silver, and we actually buy 3-cent silvers because a lot of people don't know that the U.S. Mint made them, and this one's made at the Philadelphia Mint. It's graded AU55, so it was circulated a little bit, but it's a pretty interesting coin that we really like to show people, and yeah, definitely a phenomenal piece.
Okay, now I'm a visual guy, so I'm going to bring these just a little closer and let you at least take a look and see what we've got here. And this is, see, it's going to be over here, I guess, that it's try and get you an idea. This is one of them, and here is the other one. Well, they're sure not priced by the size, are they? I asked the fellas today, I said, do you have a British doubloon? Well, goes to show how much I know about coin collecting, doesn't it? All right, anything else, guys, that you feel I might have missed that would be of importance to people that are considering coin collecting? Any parting thoughts, anything you'd like to share at all?
Well, this is a question for you, and it's more up your alley. So with every hobby, you have to get an education, and sometimes it's a costly education. So what is the most costly education or mistake that you've made in your career with horns and trumpets and what have you?
You know, I bought a trumpet one time, and it's not uncommon, but it arrived with so much red rot. And that's a case where somebody either drank a lot of sodas, sweet, they got sugar in the lead pipe, and the sugar and brass, it just eats its way through. And some people, their saliva is just, it's almost a contaminant. And so you get these horns with literally, they've rotted through from the inside to the out. And the brass is certainly not thick. But that's one thing most novice trumpet purchasers ask. Is there a red rot in the horn, specifically in the lead pipe? Guy assured me that there was not. And I remember how disappointed I was when I got that. Now, I made a video yesterday, and I actually said, I think I see a little bit of red rot in this horn. And I looked at it later, it looks fantastic. But I can stop the red rot. I just can't restore, but I can keep it from progressing. You just rinse it out with alcohol. Take a little snake, run it down in there. And that's what it was. That trumpet's in very good shape. But disclosure and honesty is really what you like. I remember I sold to a fellow in New Jersey about 5 years ago, and he called me up just a few weeks ago. I usually don't like to talk on the phone. It's just a time constraint thing. But he called me again and he said, I really like that horn that I got from you and I want to buy again. You guys know as well as I do, when you've got a lot of repeat customers, it's very rewarding because you've got relationship there. And that's what we want. You know, it's a two-way street. We're helping one another. And great question. But dishonesty is probably the biggest problem that we always face, and especially when you can't hold the item. When you do hold it in your hands, you want to be able to appreciate it.
Right.
Any other thoughts, Drew?
I don't know. I think just for anybody that's out there that's interested in either what we have to say, I think it's best to ask us in the comments below if there's any questions that you might have for Uncle Jonathan or for us, because part of what we do also is just loving to answer questions about what you might be interested in, because at the end of the day, this is more of like a knowledge-based type of channel that Uncle Jonathan's running, and so I just really want to respond to some comments.
Good, and it's the same way I am. I always say we grow by sharing what we know. And there's a couple of guys on the internet. The Horn Trader is one. Trent Austin is another. Wonderful knowledge and world-class players as well. But I always thought it would be nice if I knew things and could contribute as well. And that's, what we try to do. Well, Drew and Casey, thank you so much. I think this has been interesting. Folks, I hope you've enjoyed it as well. For those of you that are common to my channel, and perhaps for those that are considering coin investing or collecting at any rate. As I always say, take care of yourself and someone near you. Well, guys, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
That was good.